what I believe in is I put out an album and I'm not gonna reboot it later down the line like you reboot or remake a movie. The original is gonna be what it is from Earthburner, right? So I want to have an album that stands the test of time and it has that high quality sound and production. And it's really as simple as that.
GhostCallMag.com here, once again, doing the thing and excited to welcome in our old friend, Jeremy Wagner of Broken Hope and Earthburner and celebrated author and a whole bunch of other things. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm just hanging. It's what is today, Keith? Tuesday?
Today is Tuesday, the
Tuesday.
26th
Okay,
of
I can't
November.
keep track of time, but I'm glad to be here, bro. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's good to
Yeah,
see you.
man. Yeah, it's great to see you. We've done a few
Yeah.
of these over the years, not in a quite a bit, unfortunately, since the plague times. But I'm so stoked to talk to you about this new project and this new album, Earthburner. Permanent Dawn is out now, and I think it kind of. I know journalists, we have real lizard brains, so like we need everything spoon fed to us, genres and backstories and everything. I don't know how you feel about the term supergroup, but it feels like one.
Yeah. Couple things I'd like to mention is Earthburner had two, I guess, terms attached to it over the years. One was side project and one's been supergroup. And in all fairness, when Earthburner was just a glimmer in my eye back in the day, it was going to be a side project from Broken Hope. It was going to be my outlet for my uh, unbridled passion and love for grindcore, something that wasn't going to sound like Broken Hope. And it was something I had written music for and wanted to do. And at the time, you're talking way back 2000, 2001, 2002, when Broken Hope was uh, active before we went on hiatus back then. Broken Hope um, has always been my baby, and that was always most important to me. So anything I would had even an inkling of an idea of doing outside of Broken Hope would be a side project. And Earthburner started out that way, just as my way as an outlet for doing grindcore and something outside of Broken Hope, but not nothing that would be a full-time band. Now, fast forward to 2024, um, when Earthburner started recording what we now know as Permanent Dawn, when we posted photos from the studio of tracking and like Devin from Sang with Sugabog doing vocals and Mitch from Napalm Death doing his stuff. Um, everyone in the band posted pictures and just said, "Hey, we're tracking Earthburner," and didn't really say much else. But what happened is the metal media, picked up on that and were like, the days that followed us posting that, it was like metal sites were like, Earthburner, there's a super group that's recording an album featuring members of Napalm Death and Broken Hope and Sang with Sugabog and whatnot. And that all said, um, in one respect, I guess, how it depends on how you define the bands and the members involved in Earthburner, to define it as a super group. It's definitely a band that's made up of guys from extreme metal bands that are known. Um, but that said, um, it's what I would say a band that's not one. It's not a side project. I'm already writing the next Earthburner album, and two. Um, I like to think of it as, a band of, like-minded musicians and friends that, just made this really cool entity called Earthburner, and we just happen to come from all these other, extreme metal bands, if you will. So
Hey,
it's
man,
kind of
right?
like that. Kind of like, if you remember back in the day, um, when the band Down would be talked about by people, and they'd be like, Phil Anselmo has this band called Down, and he's got guys from Crowbar in it, and COC and whatnot, and they didn't even have an album out yet. It was just like Down was known, and people knew who was in the band, and they would call that a super group and whatnot. And eventually, just kind of like Earthburner, Down was, you know, talked about for years, and then eventually, finally did an album, NOLA, that came out, and the rest is history. So Earthburners had a similar kind of path, except when I started Earthburner, the only thing about that was I just happened to mention to a journalist during a interview I was doing for Broken Hope and Metal Maniacs magazine that I'm doing this side project called Earthburner, and it's a total grindcore project, side project that straight up is terrorizer world downfall worship, and I'm wearing my terrorizer world downfall long sleeve as I say that. And but Keith, nothing happened with Earthburner once the word got out in that Metal Maniacs article. A lot of people that read that article would ask me about Earthburner when I was on tour with Broken Hope in certain cities, or even back when people used to take time and write letters with a pen and paper and put a postage stamp on and send it to your PO box, your fan mail thing. People would write letters asking, "What can you tell me about Earthburner?" And at the time, I didn't have a full band or anything. It was really me um, taking the name Earthburner from a Broken Hope song that was on Grotesque Blessings and dubbing this band Earthburner, which was a grindcore band with some super heavy death metal riffs and kind of a punk attitude, but definitely grindcore and again World Downfall inspired. And it was a drummer and me recording songs I wrote and just demoing them, just drums and guitar. And around 2002, when Broken Hope went on hiatus, I thought I'd be focusing on just Earthburner. Broken Hope was going to take a break until we got a really solid, good lineup, and I felt good about doing Broken Hope full time. I was going to do Earthburner, and then the drummer I was working with, he ended up moving out of state, and I ended up doing this other band called Lupara. And that band, we did one album and we did a music video, and I did that for a few years. And then that was done. And right around 2009, the original like OG Broken Hope band members met and talked about getting back together to, you know, we've been gone several years, and, there was some kind of demand for Broken Hope with promoters and fans and festivals. And the way I felt about putting Broken Hope on hold was for the mere fact that after Grotesque Blessings, and not having original members in the band and touring with like Brian Griffin and me with a bunch of different guys, it just didn't feel right. So when I met with the original members, we talked about bringing the band back. I'm like, now's the time to do it. It feels right. If you guys are down, I'd love to do it. And at that time, uh, that's kind of the path I was on. Earthburner, mind you, Keith, was always in the back of my head, and I still wanted to do something with that, but I didn't know when. And then, as I've said in interviews, uh, with the history of Earthburner and Broken Hope, being a part of that history, 2010 rolls around. And unfortunately, our original singer, Joe Thiacek, dies. So I was like, I don't think I'll be doing Broken Hope. We're not going to come back and go back out and, be reunited, if you will. So in 2011, that's when I found drummer Mike Miczek, who became Broken Hope's drummer for the last 14 years and is in Earthburner with me. And in 2011, when Mike and I got together, uh, I was like, I want to do this band Earthburner. Here's some songs for you to listen to that are recorded, and let's do an album and make Earthburner grind music. And so Mike and I got a singer named Ryan, and we ended up doing a 3-song EP and a music video, and we were rolling right along. We didn't have a bass player yet, so when we did the EP, I did all the bass in the studio. So we were still looking for a bass player, but we were on our way, and I was really dedicated to doing Earthburner. And then 2012 came, and Broken Hope came back in my life in a huge way. I was approached by a management slash booking agency that were this, conglomerate together, and they were like, "Look, uh, we're approaching you because, in case you don't know, Broken Hope, you guys have been gone for 10 years now. And we hear from festival organizers and whatever venues and fans. There's people that haven't seen Broken Hope in a long time. Plus, you guys have a lot of new younger fans you may not realize who got turned on to Broken Hope, and blah blah blah. And if you guys can come back, we will help you uh manage the band, put you on tour, and put out albums and everything. What was important to me, Keith, was um uh having the right lineup. Now in 2002, when I put the brakes on Broken Hope, the main reason for that was it didn't feel like Broken Hope. I just had, our other player, Brian Griffin, and me, but Joe, original singer, he had quit the band after Grotesque Blessings. He didn't want to tour anymore or anything. He had different priorities in life. And our drummer Ryan was gone, and he unfortunately passed away. And um, for me, it was one part like if we're coming back, the reasons I put the band on hold in 2002 still hold up. I won't do Broken Hope unless there's um, super professional people in the band that are dedicated to the music, can play it, have the right attitude, and plus, um, it was now it's a unique situation versus 2009 because with Joe being gone, that's the guy who I formed the band with as a teenager, and he was a very significant guttural frontman in death metal. To this day, he's so revered as what being the some say the most guttural, brutal death metal vocalist, whatever. There was only one Joe Thychek, so having someone uh, try to fill those shoes um, was a very special uh, thing to me, very important. It had to be someone that knew that legacy we had and could actually almost like an instrument if you think about it, like live. There's a lot of guttural death metal vocalists that are great, but it might sound funny, but I wanted someone that had a Joe Thychek tone almost to their vocals. So the front man was important, and of course, the rest of the lineup. Now, I was fortunate enough to have Mike Miczek already on drums because we were doing Earthburner in 2011. And during that time of doing Earthburner, we would screw around with all kinds of Broken Hope songs at band practice. So Mike knew how to play the whole catalog. And so in short order, basically, with the help of this management booking agency company, we end up getting Damian Lesky on vocals, who's the singer of Gorgasm, and he worked out perfectly. He checked all the boxes I wanted for a front man to sing for Broken Hope, and he really respected Joe's legacy and style and embraced it and really worked hard since day one to always be the best he could for that vocal style. And then the rest of the band, we got our old bass player Sean back, who had been in the band in the 90s, Mike Miczek, and then we got a lead guitar player, and that finished out the lineup. So in 2012, Broken Hope was officially back. We went out on tour soon after announcing we were back, and we were direct support for Obituary. We did some stuff in Europe, and then during that whole, tour cycle and uh, reunion or whatever you want to call it, announcement that we're back, we signed a deal with Century Media Records, and we just kept working hard. 2013 came. And along with that came a new album, the first one since 1999. That was Omen of Disease in 2013. And yeah, we just kept touring, putting out albums. And it's weird. I just said this in an earlier interview, Keith, how um, it sounds cliche about time flies, but time literally flies because Broken Hope was gone for a decade, didn't do anything at all. And then we came back, and now we've been back for 14 years. So we're gone 10, back for 14. And that said, when Broken Hope came back in 2012, circling back to 2012 and Earthburner, because I did Broken Hope full time for the last 14 years. Earthburner got put to the side again, right? So what's happened now is we're uh, we're in this stage that's I don't know, a record label calls it uh, legacy mode because we've been around so long. We don't tour to as a career. We, don't make a living touring at all, like other bands. So in this legacy mode, we're fortunate to kind of pick and choose our own battles. So we will sometimes do a string of dates that's maybe a week long, or we'll, do festival dates in different places around the world and fly dates in and out, that kind of thing. And a lot of that too has to do with guys in the band are older. Right? There's guys in Broken Hope that are having kids and getting married now, or our drummer just had a kid, and they just don't want to tour, period, even if they wanted to. So that said, we just been uh, doing our own thing again, picking and choosing what we want to do, and we're still active, but it's not a full-time thing. So in 2023, as things were kind of slowing down, if you will, that's when I talked to Mike, our drummer, about doing Earthburner and actually doing an album and finally making that happen. Again, we had that EP in 2011, but we never did an album, and I had so much material, and I still wanted to do Earthburners. So Mike was really excited and down to do that. And my stepson Tyler is a bass player in a grindcore band called Glory Hole Guillotine, and he's great name. He he's a really great bass player, and he's got this uh like old soul when it comes to metal. Like he loves all the bands that influenced me and that I love to this day, whether it's Morbid Angel and Terrorizer, Old Carcass, Napalm Death, to newer grind bands, and then classic metal bands too. I mean, his favorite metal band is Iron Maiden. So when he turned 18, his first tattoo was a tattoo of Eddie from the Killers album on his left arm. And so he's like a walking, I always say this in interviews, he's a walking metal encyclopedia because he loves all these genres of metal and he knows so much about them. I mean, he turns me on to bands I never heard of, like, constantly. So that said, he became a really accomplished bass player, had a passion for extreme music. So the Earthburner lineup in 2023, when Mike and I started talking about seriously doing it, we asked Tyler to be a part of it. He instantly said yes. So the only thing we needed was a singer, and I don't know, like things happen for a reason, right place, right time. I don't know. Around that same time, out of the blue, Devin Swank from Sang with Sugabog, who's been friends with Tyler for a long time. I'm friends with him too. I met him through Tyler. Tyler's known him like before Sang with Sugabog ever had an album out. We're just like a demo band. He actually hit Tyler up and said, "Hey, what's your stepdad? What's he doing with that band Earthburner? Because I got the EP off of Bandcamp, and that is fucking badass. And I want to do a grindcore band outside of Sang with Sugabog, and if he'd be interested in, doing an Earthburner, um, I'd love to sing for it." And it was like, I can't believe this is happening right now because we literally just had a discussion about bringing Earthburner back, and I we had everybody we needed except for a singer, and then Devin Swank came along asking about Earthburner. So I said, "Shit, I I would love to have Devin in the band." And again, I knew Devin thanks to Tyler, and I got a hold of him. And I talked to him and I said, you're serious about doing a grind band and you'd be down to do Earthburner? He's like, yeah, absolutely. So that just lit a fire under my ass, Keith. And within a week, um, I booked studio time. And I think within 2 weeks, we were in the studio tracking the music for what is now Permanent Dawn, you know. So, it was really uh, crazy how quick things came together after being on, sitting on this stuff for so long and wanting to bring it back and it turning into going from just talking about it to actually doing it, you know. So it was pretty, pretty amazing. And I think things happen for a reason, right place, right time, universe, whatever. And I wouldn't. I'm glad it happened now, and it's out in 2024 because I wouldn't want to do. It wouldn't be the same band if I had done it in 2002 and 2011. Like this lineup to me is a dream lineup for a band for me. And again, I don't know. It was just something that's time took a while, but it was meant to be and happen at this time, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for unpacking all that. That was a great catch up actually for me. And I'm gonna tell you, like, yeah, this record, Permanent Dawn, is so much fun. I always feel like grindcore is like the fun bastard kid of extreme brutal metal, and I think it has its place. And I agree with you about that throwback feeling that this record really. I love that you brought up Terrorizer before. I get a lot of Repulsion vibes, like early Repulsion, like the very raw
Yeah.
records, and I think the production has a lot to do with that, which you co-produced the record. I think you've been producing records for a long time or co-producing your own records for a long time. Along with Tommy
Yeah.
McWilliams, who's like, his catalog speaks for itself. So it's like I love that
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
the music matches the vibe of the production matches the music perfectly well. Like I was so pleased that it sounds exactly like it sounds like it's supposed to be a grindcore record, you know? It's not too pretty.
Yeah. Tommy McWilliams was a huge help to me in the studio. He's a veteran producer, engineer, session drummer. I don't know if you checked out his, resume or body of work, but I mean, it's so friggin' expansive and impressive. And he was just a huge asset to the album. And doing the album where we did at Criteria, one thing that was really important to me was the production. You know, I know it's grindcore and when I say it's just grindcore, that's not like me being dismissive of it at all. That's like other people. There's a mentality with extreme music, whether it's, black metal, grindcore, even death metal, like a lot of that stuff, the production, uh, some bands are lo-fi, some don't have, stellar production. And I get that part of that is bands that are extreme metal bands that are signed, it's not like they have huge recording budgets or anything. So they do the best they can and the end product is what it is. But for me, um when we did Permanent Dawn, we weren't signed. I was financing the recording of the album and mixing and mastering and everything else. And for me, with anything I do in life, quality is absolutely paramount. Whether say it's I have a publishing company, and the books we publish and the comic books we put out, it's nothing's half-assed. It's always the content inside has to be from the best creators. We want to have the best storytellers, and then the best cover art, and even down to the quality of the paper of the book or comic book has to be high quality. And the same with a record for me. I want it to be sonically the best sounding album, period, when it comes out. And with whether it's, you know, Lady Gaga, pop, Taylor Swift, or Earthburner, um, uh, the I want to have a stellar production. So anyone that buys that, the sonic assault that they get on their ears, the quality is top notch, and they're blown away. They can hear everything, and having a highly polished and produced grindcore album like Permanent Dawn doesn't take away any of the extremity, any of the intensity, any of the heaviness. What you get is high quality sounding extreme grindcore, extreme metal, and you get your money's worth. And to that end, I've also said this in interviews, and it's something that going back to Broken Hope, that is an album is forever. It's, you can remaster an album, or some bands, yes, like the Cavallero Brothers have re-recorded Sepultura albums, or certain people like Ozzy have removed people from albums and replaced their parts with somebody else, But like that's like shit I would never do. What I believe in is I put out an album, and I'm not gonna reboot it later down the line like you reboot or remake a movie. The original is gonna be what it is from Earthburner, right? So I want to have an album that stands the test of time, and it has that high quality sound and production. And it's really as simple as that. So when I made the album at Criteria, tracking there and doing vocals in Chicago at Hypercube, um, I just wanted the best team possible. And Tommy McWilliams, my co-producer, he played a big role in that, getting the best engineers, choosing the best mics, recording on a Neve board, and then mixing on an SSL. And I'll be straight up with you right now. I don't know jack shit about audio, engineering, or gear to this day after doing so many albums. I know how to write music, and I have two home studios, but I always needed help that I got to call in to tell me how to do shit in my own studios. I don't know how to do a lot of stuff. I'm always on a learning curve, but Tommy, he has that experience, and he right out of the box got the memo, which was I want to have the best sounding album, period, when it's all done, mixed and mastered and released. And I think we accomplished that, at least to the best of our abilities. And then after um, that was done. Oh, and by the way, I want to mention the beauty of being in control and financing the making of Permanent Dawn myself is um, I didn't have any restrictions from a record label. I didn't have anybody over my shoulder telling me what to do or watching a budget or that kind of shit. I did it all myself, kept the vision intact, and um, and then from there I shopped it around when it was done, and that's how we wound up with M Theory Audio. And now it's been 2 weeks. I think about 2 weeks the album came out, and here we are, bro. I'm talking
Right
to
on.
both about
Yeah, hey.
Permanent Dawn and how it happened, and all my wonderful philosophies on, studio recording and albums and all that good stuff.
Right on. Lucky us. I feel very lucky always to talk to you. A couple of other things about Permanent Dawn. First of all, we always end up talking about guitar shit naturally, but I really gotta pause and talk about vocals on the record, not just the performance of Devin, but the guest vocals and the use of the vocals. Because I always feel like vocals are always a lot of grindcore bands can go fast and they can be brutal, but and obviously there's like a certain culture around grindcore vocals, but this vocal performance is like phenomenal across the board on the whole album. So I love that you got my man Ross in there from Immolation, big Immolation fan from way back. And I want to talk about Jake also from Mix Mall.
Yeah, there's there's been a lot of things that I call, good fortune or kismet or whatever you want to call it that have fallen in my lap that made this album extra special and in different ways. And the thing, what starting with vocalists, um, right away, having Devin, entering the scene, wanting to do a grind band and loving that Earthburner EP and completing the lineup and having us on our way. He one thing he did was what the rest of the band wanted, especially me, with the mindset of um, we wanted to not only make an album that was absolutely ferocious, no filler, just pummeling song after song after song. It was also important that we were doing something that didn't sound like our other bands. So, when you talk about supergroup, we want to make sure Earthburner didn't sound like Broken Hope Jr. or sang with Sugabog or Napalm Death or Glory Hole Guillotine. We wanted to make sure things, really stood out. And that that goes down to from the actual um, the way we write or I write riffs. The tone, guitar tone is different. It's a different style of music. Broken Hope tunes the D. We tune the B standard. In Earthburner, right there, you get a different tone. Um, a lot of heavy bass guitar throughout, and then Mike doing what he does, uh, style wise, that's true grindcore. But with Devin, um, the he, in relation to that, to be distinct vocally in Earthburner and not sound like he does in Sang with Sugabog was something that I think Devin just did naturally because once he heard the music and wrote his lyrics to all the songs, the way he did his vocal approach was more organic. Like he was almost as if he knew how he was going to sing those songs, you know. And when I hear our read reviews for the album now, saying like, Devin Swank, um, I don't know how he shifts gears, but his vocals on Permanent Dawn, you wouldn't know it's the same guy that sang with Sugabong. So that makes me really happy to read that. And then um, so that aside, when you talk about guest vocals, when we got um, the lyrics written and the patterns down, the music was already recorded in April 2023, but Devin was on tour and couldn't record vocals until like June 2023. So in that time, um, he was writing, finishing up the lyrics, had patterns and stuff. And I had this wish list of some guest vocalists I wanted on Permanent Dawn. And the reason I had a wish list was I wanted to make Permanent Dawn uh, extra special. It's our first album from Earthburner. Let's make it count. Let's do some cool shit. So I wanted Ross Dolan, who's a very dear friend of mine. I mean, we've been friends since we were teenagers, and I mean, that's a long time. We're in our 50s now, and we're still good buddies. And I asked him if he would contribute vocals to a song. And he immediately said yes. And Devin already uh, had Ross in mind for a song called Necrodesiac. So that's the song he sang on. And Devin gave him the lyrics and basically the whole track. When I mentioned that Devin had been working on lyrics and patterns by June of 2023, we got all the vocals recorded. So we got the rest of the guest vocalists on board. So Ross was busy with Immolation, but he made time with his guitar player Bob from Immolation, helped him track in the studio in New York to do those guest vocals. So they did that in New York, and then Jake Cannavale, I've been friends with him for a while and love Vixen Ma. So I hit him up and asked him if he'd sing on that Corrosion of Conformity cover that we do, Positive Outlook. And he signed right on. And same situation, Keith. He was like, do it. Something. I think he was on a movie set or something because Jake's an actor. He's been in a number of movies and TV shows. Um, and his dad's a famous actor, Bobby Cannavale. So I think he was doing a film project. Anyway, he ended up same thing, recording in New York with a friend helping him engineer and do his guest vocals and whatnot. And then the third guy that I wanted on board was my longtime friend, Mitch Harris. And Mitch is the one guy who actually turned up in the studio to record vocals the same day Devin was tracking his vocals for the album. So they did that at Hypercube Studios in Chicago. And what was a great thing was like I'm like or doing, backflips. I'm so happy because we've got the guys I had in mind to contribute guest vocals all said yes, and we got them, including Mitch. But in Mitch's case, we gave him the album, and we had um, we there was a song I can't remember which one it was, but it was there was a track Devin had in mind for Mitch to do guest vocals on, and what happened is we sent Mitch that track with the music and the lyrics that Devin was going to put on it, and we sent him all the rest of the songs too. And when Mitch came in the same day Devin did to do vocals, Mitch basically told us, he's like, I got ideas for that song you want me to do guest vocals on, but I got to tell you, I actually have ideas that I worked out in my home vocal booth for every single song on the album. So I was like, well, then fucking you're gonna sing on every song then, dude. You're here, and I want you to get all your ideas on every track. And Devin was totally down for it, and the rest of the band. And what ended up happening, bro, is Mitch saying his style of like that's why I asked Mitch to be on the album, is because I always loved his backup high pitched backup vocals in Napalm Death when they might see them live, and what he would do on Napalm Death albums with Barney, and I just always loved that. And Mitch had told me himself in recent years that because he had done a couple projects of his own that he actually sang on and stuff, and he has said that he has a real passion for doing vocals and whatnot. So anyway, um, these are all numerous, reasons why I wanted Mitch on the album as a special guest and to make the debut album special. But what happened is when he did all that vocal work on all those songs with all of his ideas, he brought a whole new dynamic to the album. Because when you hear Devin with Mitch and their different vocal styles, they complement each other and bring a new level to the album vocally and give it a whole different vibe for the better. And it's almost like more extreme, more of an attitude. I don't know how else to explain it, but having Mitch come in that way and contribute to every song, uh, I feel not only, again, I said, I'll repeat myself, but it brought a dynamic to Earthburner I didn't see coming, and it made the album more special, and it made the album more better, and more extreme, and just so many bonuses. And I didn't see it coming, and I was dude, just delighted beyond words. So, because of that, um, like we made Mitch an honorary member of Earthburner. We want him on every album. And Mitch is in a place in life where like he's a single dad. He's got a son uh, who is I think 17 or around 17, and he's got a lot of responsibilities, so he it's not like he can tour and do a bunch of stuff, but for example when we play we've only done 3 shows or so to date. The next one is not this weekend, the following weekend, we're doing Decibel Metal and Beer Fest, and Mitch is going to join us for that show, which is great. I'm really excited about that. And I want him on the next album. So I'll take Mitch live any chance I can get him. And if we can't get him, we totally understand. But no matter what, I want him on, definitely want him on every Earthburner album. So that long ass winded friggin' story I just told you, the bottom line is this album just came with a ton of surprises and great things that some of which I asked for happened and some I didn't see coming happened. And Mitch being on the entire album is one of them. And then I'll give you one more thing to tell you that was extra special that I didn't see coming. And it's when we mixed the album, um, we're down, we when we finished the vocals in Chicago, we brought the album back down to Criteria Studios to mix. And when we were mixing, the vice president, main dude who runs Criteria Recording Studios, comes in the control room and he goes, "You know why you're mixing Permanent Dawn right now, mixing this down digitally, you could also mix it to analog at the same time." And I was like, wait a minute, the analog, they still make analog tape? Like, I was that naive. He's like, yeah, they actually still make analog tape. We have some, and we have in storage these finely tuned and preserved vintage reel-to-reel tape machines. So we've got one we can bring in with an engineer who knows how to run it. So when you're mixing down digitally, we could also have this guy have the mix down on analog at the same time. So I'm like, well, yeah, let's friggin' do it. This is like a very unique opportunity. I want to take advantage of it. So we did that. And um, what happened is now that the albums come out and we had a digital and analog version, um, I one day got this idea in my head thinking about um, when I was 16 and 17, um, I had Slayer's Rain and Blood album on cassette tape, and my morning ritual um, was, before school or even after I graduated, before work or whatever, my morning ritual would be jump in the shower. I'd have my boom box, this giant boom box set up on my bathroom sink with Rain and Blood on it. And Rain and Blood is like 28 minutes long. So when it first came out, the Def Jam Records put the entire album on side A and on side B. So I would put that on at full volume and just be, showering and headbanging in the shower nonstop to Rain and Blood for 28 minutes and sometimes longer if it flipped over to side B. So anyway, I never forgot that. And I'm like, our album's like 21 minutes. I'm like, here's what we do, guys. We got 2 versions of the album. We aren't going to do it for the CD, but for the vinyl and cassette versions of Permanent Dawn, side A will make the digital side, and side B will put the analog version on it. And that's exactly what we did. So, side A of Permanent Dawn, if you look at it, it's called, in parentheses, it says Digital Dawn. And then on side B of Permanent Dawn in parentheses, it says Analog Dawn. So digital version, analog version. Same with the cassettes. And since the album came out, we've heard from numerous people that they're like, wow, the album, fucking slays, but there's things we love about the digital version, and then there's things we love about the analog version sonically. So that was another special, unique thing that fell in our lap during this whole process. So I just wanted to share that as well. So just
Oh,
a lot
yes,
of cool shit happened making the
so much.
album.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. That's so cool. And honestly, like, how do you stay passionate about making extreme metal, 35, 40 years into your career as a musician is to keep having these new experiences that keep you revitalized. I love, as a complete vinyl nerd and weirdo with a vinyl podcast on top of this stuff, I'm super stoked about that, like digital and analog. I can't wait to A/B it and check that out. Just for a last thing. Obviously we got the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest coming up in Denver with Autopsy and
Right.
Yob and Paul Bearer and Sir Thungle, one of their last shows. What do you got going on for 2025? It seems crazy to say that to you in our third interview. What do you got going on for this year? What do you got going on for that year? But like, I know you always seem like two chess moves ahead with all the things you're working on. So I don't know if you can
Yeah.
announce anything, but I assume and I hope there will be more shows and other things.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm trying to do um, relevant to Earthburner is now that the album is out and like I had mentioned, Broken Hope is in legacy mode. We want to definitely tour and support this album as much as possible. So there hasn't been anything confirmed yet tour wise, but I know our name's been thrown in a few hats to get on different tours, and hopefully that'll happen in 2025. Um, Devin is like off half the year because Sang with Sugabog are going to take a break and write a new album. That dude, like, he told me that he's done 180 shows or something in this last year. It's unreal how much touring he's done. So they're taking a break, but at the same time they're taking a break, Devin's the type of guy, he's a workhorse, so he wants to go right back out and do Earthburner, and he loves Earthburner. And part of the lineup thing with Earthburner, a lot of what we're able to do live is dependent on Devin's availability, actually, because if he's busy, saying with Sugabog, that's his bread and butter. He does 100, he did 180 some shows or whatever. That's how he makes a living. So, if he's off, that's when we got prime opportunity to maximize Earthburner being on the road and doing any shows we can, festivals, whatever it is. So my hopes are, bro, that we get some opportunities coming our way soon that we can lock onto and confirm and get out there. So that's our wish. And I'll tell you this too, like Devin, Tyler, who's my stepson, and Mike, they're all about the same age. They're like 30 years old, 31, something like that. I think Mike's the oldest, so he's like 31, 32. Devin and Tyler are like 30. Meanwhile, um, you got me, 54-year-old old man Wagner in the band, and it makes for a very interesting dynamic in the lineup itself. I'm from the old, when you talk about old school death metal, OSDM, where you got these younger bands like Sang with Sugabog flying the OSDM flag high. they weren't, you know, doing bands back then. They're probably just being born, coming into the world, you know. But they got such a passion and love for this music and for playing and performing um, that they actually make me feel like I I felt when I was in my early 20s starting Broken Hope. That's all I wanted to do. You could throw me in a Ford Pinto with no air conditioning and AM radio for 100 dates, and I'd be on top of the world thinking I made it. I'm living the life, you know. And as I've gotten older, um, in some ways, I've gotten, pickier, like, oh, fuck, I don't know if I want to do this. I hate going traveling, going to the airport, just stupid, whiny shit, whatever, like, just, like, just sounded like, old man. And now that I'm in a band with these guys who have all this enthusiasm, I don't know, it's like it reinvigorates me. I mean, because there's one side of me that you hear it when you hear Earthburner's album. I wrote that music, okay? So my love, my passion for extreme music has never wavered. So as much as I, sound like I'm bitching about, being an old man who doesn't want to do certain things, one thing that never changed is I fucking have always written super heavy, super extreme music that's woven in my DNA, and that'll always be a part of me till the day I die. From now till I'm 150 years old, I'll still be writing extreme music. It's just you know, the touring and traveling. I've done it so much. That's what always got old with me, especially in recent years. But that said, these fucking young dudes, bro, they're hungry and they love it. And they want to do everything, and it really puts a shot of adrenaline in my veins, and it's like it's for me, it's an excitement and a feeling I haven't felt in a long time, and that's why I'm already writing the next Earthburner album. I've got this motivation and I've got this excitement, and I don't know, it's just a really cool thing. And again, going back to that dynamic of the band, uh, Old Man Wagner and the young death metal Brady Bunch. It's like you don't see that every day, and it makes me happy to be with young guys who are so passionate about this music the way I'm passionate about it, the way I was passionate about 89, picking up Terrorizer and Morbid Angel at the record store, or Carcass, or Napalm Death, or Obituary, all that stuff from 89 to 92. You know what I mean? It's like that's them. They're into that same shit. They get it. They love it as much as I do. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just all around it. Earthburner is a very special, cool thing to me, and I just want to keep doing it uh, yeah, forever, really. I love it. So, yeah, that's about all I can tell you. It's my
Right on.
broken hope. It's my other baby now, you
Yeah, of
know?
course. Yeah, they're on equal footing. I like that so much. I like that you're in this
Yeah.
band with these young fucking guys that were probably just barely born when Repulsive Conception came out in 30 years ago next year. But grindcore, death metal, old school death metal, young fucking guys, old man Wagner, old man Keefy, Jeremy, it's always a pleasure to chop it up. It's always a pleasure to chop it up with you. My back hurts already. And I have a whole day in front of me too. But thank you so much for your time, man. Again, it's always a pleasure and an honor. And we'll do it again soon. I'm so stoked for you.
Yeah, well, thank you, bro, for having me on. It's always a pleasure. I always appreciate any opportunity talk Earthburner, especially with this new album. So thanks for having me on, and good to see you, bro. And thanks for letting me chew your ear off with all my history and all my other bullshit. I appreciate it.
I I could do this all day. You have no idea. Thank you so much, man. We'll catch you soon. Take care.
All right, you too, buddy. Take care, buddy.
Peace. Peace out.
Cheers. Bye bye.